In the cradle of the Siberian taiga, where the wind howled secrets older than the pines, lived Elias Hawthorne. At 42, he was a ghost in his own skin, a widower etched by loss, his days measured in the crackle of a lone hearth and the endless white beyond his cabin's frost-laced window. The taiga's edge was his exile, a jagged scar of snow and shadow where he had fled 5 years ago, after the fever claimed his wife, Alara. Her laughter had been the thaw to his winters. Without it, Elias had become the storm itself, stoic, unyielding, a man who spoke more to the ravens than to mirrors. His cabin, a humble fortress of logs and iron, stood sentinel against the blizzards, its chimney a defiant plume against the iron-gray sky. He trapped for pelts, carved totems from driftwood, and whispered apologies to the empty air, convinced that solitude was the only mercy left to him. The night the wolves came, the storm was biblical, a fury of sleet and gale that clawed at the cabin like a beast denied entry. Elias huddled by the fire, his gnarled hands nursing a tin mug of bitter tea, when the knock came. Not a branch against the door, nor the wind's deceit, but 3 deliberate raps, muffled yet insistent. His heart stuttered. No soul ventured this far into the taiga's maw. Rifle in hand, he cracked the door, the cold rushing in like a lover's scornful breath. There, silhouetted against the swirling white, stood 3 wolves, massive, silver-furred phantoms with eyes like molten amber, glowing through the veil of snow. They did not snarl or circle. They simply waited, steam rising from their flanks, as if the storm had birthed them from its womb. The largest, a she-wolf with a scar like a crescent moon across her muzzle, tilted her head, her gaze piercing Elias's defenses. Beside her, 2 yearlings, sleek and watchful, their coats dappled with frost, flanked her like silent guardians. No howl rent the night, only the wind's lament. Elias's finger tightened on the trigger, but something ancient stirred in his chest, a pull, like the tide to the moon. What madness is this? He muttered, yet he stepped aside, the door creaking wide. The wolves entered, shaking snow from their paws, their presence filling the cabin with a wild, electric warmth. He barred the door, pulse thundering, and watched as they settled by the fire, not as predators, but pilgrims. The she-wolf, whom he would later name Luna in the quiet of his thoughts, lay with regal poise, her yearlings, Orion and Nova, curling against her flanks. Elias retreated to his chair, rifle across his lap, but sleep evaded him. In the firelight, their eyes held stories, Luna's, depths of sorrow and fierce protection, Orion's, a spark of untested fire, Nova's, a gentle curiosity that mirrored Alara's own. Hours bled into dawn, the storm's roar fading to a hush. When Elias stirred, the wolves had not devoured his stores or torn at his throat. Instead, they regarded him with patient wisdom, as if he were the intruder in their tale. Days turned to a fragile truce. Elias left scraps of venison by the hearth. Luna accepted them with a nod of her noble head. He spoke to them in the tongue of the lost, fragments of lullabies Alara had sung, tales of star-crossed lovers in the old country. The wolves listened, their ears pricked, and in the silences, Elias felt the cabin's emptiness recede. One twilight, as auroras painted the sky in veils of emerald and violet, Luna approached him. Her nose brushed his hand, cold and trusting, and in that touch, a vision unfurled, not in words, but in the language of souls. He saw her pack shattered by poacher's greed, her mate slain under a harvest moon, her pups scattered to the winds. Orion and Nova, the sole survivors, had followed her through blizzards and starvation, their bond a thread against the unraveling world. They had sought refuge not from fear, but from a deeper exile, the ache of fractured family. Elias's throat tightened, tears carving hot paths down his weathered cheeks. "You found me," he whispered, "as I found you." In Luna's eyes, he glimpsed Alara, not her ghost, but her essence, the unyielding love that defies the void. He lowered his rifle forever, trading it for a lantern and a satchel of provisions. Together, they ventured into the taiga's heart, the wolves his shadows, his guides. Orion's playful nips urged him over frozen streams. Nova's soft winds led him to hidden glades where crocuses dared the snow. Elias carved no more totems of isolation. Instead, he etched maps of mercy, marking safe paths for wanderers and beasts alike. But the true revelation came under a blood moon, when shadows stirred beyond the cabin. Poachers, hardened men with traps and greed in their veins, had tracked the wolves, drawn by whispers of silver pelts worth a fortune. Elias heard their boots crunching snow, their coarse laughter slicing the night. Luna's hackles rose, a low growl rumbling like thunder's prelude. Orion and Nova flanked her, pups no longer but warriors in fur. Elias, heart pounding with a fire long dormant, grabbed his old knife, not to kill, but to stand. "This is our home," he roared into the gale, his voice a clarion call. The confrontation was no blaze of glory, but a symphony of survival. Luna lunged with primal grace, scattering the intruders with snaps and feints. Orion harried their flanks, a blur of silver fury. Nova, the gentle one, circled to herd them back into the storm. Elias faced their leader, a scarred brute with eyes like chipped flint, his knife gleaming in the moonlight. "Leave," Elias said, not in anger, but in the quiet thunder of conviction. "Or the Taiga claims you." The man hesitated, glimpsing the wild alliance before him, man and wolves, woven into one unbreakable pelt. Curses fading on the wind, they fled, the storm swallowing their retreat. As silence reclaimed the night, Elias sank to his knees, Luna's head heavy on his shoulder. Orion licked the salt from his face, Nova nuzzled his palm, her warmth a balm. In that moment, the lonely man shattered, reborn in the forge of kinship. The wolves had not come as strangers, but as mirrors, reflecting his wounds, mending them with paws and paws alone. He buried his face in Luna's fur, inhaling the musk of earth and eternity. "We a pack," he breathed, the words of our etched in frost. Seasons wheeled onward. Elias's cabin became a beacon. Travelers spoke of the wolf keeper, a guardian of the tiger's soul. He adopted no human companions, for the wild had claimed him fully. Yet in quiet evenings, as the fire danced and the wolves slumbered close, Elias felt Alara's presence, not in grief's shadow, but in the light of what endures. Love, he learned, is no fragile bloom. It is the root that defies the freeze, the hull that bridges the abyss. Answer, on the edge of the icy Taiga, a man once adrift found his shore, not in solitude's chill embrace, but in the warm circle of three mysterious souls. The storm had brought them, but it was their shared silence that wove the eternal thread, a meeting not of chance, but of destiny's tender, fang-bared grace. Thank you for watching this story till the end. Sparkles, if it touched your heart, please support us. Thumbs up, give it a like. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and make you believe in miracles. Your participation means a lot to us. Heart.